So I don't know if I'm gonna have anything on screen. Oh my goodness, I'm keeping this on in, by the way. But this is essentially going to go until I unlock every achievement, just to show you and make sure it's 0%. And I was supposed to check something, and I didn't. So I guess I'm just gonna do 1 or 2. Well, I was gonna do 2 runs per video, and that's the preface you'll get. And everything else I'll talk about in the meantime. So this was kind of asked for, and I didn't want to, step on anyone's toes. Actually, we should customize the playthrough. But it will be set on Harbinger, and we're pretty much going to set Timeline X. I'll do character specific perks for now, and obviously all we have is the World of Horror backstory. So without further ado, we'll get into the meat of things. We'll go from left to right, but I'm pretty sure I will be unlocking things just as nature of habit. As we get into Katak, World of Horror character-exclusive Kyrie perks. And I don't need to read that. Also, funny enough, depending on the encounter you run into, the game will tutorial you, and I could eat a bunch of damage. But for newer players, let's take it a bit slower. So if you didn't know, Sigils in the Lighthouse are... they give you from top to bottom what order of tests you're going to be in. At the same time, yes, this series will also kind of spoil some game mechanics, but I think the game still has depth through that. So strength is this sigil. This is the second mystery sigil. This is charisma, light, Takshisan, and second encounter. Maybe. The sixth sigil here has a chance of appearing, and that's based off of the town status that will change throughout the game, or basically negative effects mainly are added after every mystery. And just kind of I try not to insult your intelligence, so I don't try to say things that are kind of self-evident what the game gives you. So yes, you can press Z, see what items are clickable, but for the most part, everything I'm going to look into is usually has a use, unless I misclick. Then I'll tell you I misclicked. But yeah, this drawer, if you didn't see the tips video, has an empty bottle, sometimes a library, sometimes library notes, and sometimes nothing. The empty bottle you use here. And you can do this every time you can enter the bath, which is before or after every mystery. So, and since I can't heal anything, I might as well just take experience, and we'll do our best. I don't think I can actually grab the rumor right now. Also, I should have set the perk packs, but we're gonna see what happens when I skip all of those screens. But we'll check here for a few moments, and I won't try to hurt your eyes. It hurts my eyes as well, but anywho, go into your clothes just to, if nothing else, get one fund from the drawer here. On easier difficulties, you start with funds, but either way, it usually doesn't hurt to grab it. There are very specific reasons why you wouldn't grab it at first, but I am grabbing it. And so we have Vigil, Teacher, Footage, Botanist, and Scissors. I shorthand the mystery names to the last word, which is why I pronounce them the way I do. So here already we have a choice. I can spend about 20-30 seconds giving you my plans, but normally, especially on Harbinger, because Harbinger adds damage already from the beginning, so I want to be careful about the mystery order. Even right now, you can start planning. After you get enough knowledge or you get familiar with the game, you can kind of go quicker, but for now, I can give you some basic insight. So Vigil, I'm going to be stuck in a location, mainly the mansion, namely the mansion, and I won't have access to rest. Teacher, I'm still kind of learning my strategy around, but essentially is a more normal mystery. However, one, I have to censor it, technically. I don't have to, but there's also a boss encounter at the end. It's not normal, though, so I wouldn't say it's as difficult, but there is something you must fight that actually deals stamina to you. Footage, you're going to be stuck in the forest after 3 investigations, so I won't have access to rest. I value that a lot, usually. And as we speed up here, Botanist, similar to Footage, but it has an asterisk in terms of the ending of the mystery. On Harbinger, you're usually going to get one specific ending, which I should be talking about how to get endings as well. And Scissors is the one everyone probably played in, has 5 school investigations, but you are stuck in a location. Relatively, though, it's an easier encounter, but that also depends on several factors. One of the most important ones being timeline. However, as a rule of thumb, I usually try to take a town mystery first, and by town mystery, I mean I have access to sub-locations everywhere else, in Shiokawa. But as another general rule, if you want another tip, usually I wouldn't save mysteries like Footage and Botanist for last, because usually you want access to every sublocation just in case you need to do something, namely rest, but yeah. And since we're starting with nothing unlocked, normally I would do very Harbinger-specific things, but because we can't, and in this case, yes, I could have taken Scissors first, for those who don't know. Scissors has a weapon you can pick up immediately, however, it's not the best. So instead, what I'm going to do is something I, again, wouldn't normally do even if I have nothing unlocked, which is to go into the library, and I'm going to grab a spell. Spells are, again, a very simple form is, spells are very big RNG based, and I can review invisibility in a moment, but essentially you're playing a gacha game. With spells, you're either going to get a really, really good spell, and the better spells are much rarer to get just by nature of how many spells are in game, and most of the spells are not useless in my opinion, but very situational in there. You can find a use for them, but normally you wouldn't. Like a Thotu Flame, theoretically right now, its specific use, especially what I'm playing right now, is that I have nothing unlocked, so I don't have a weapon. So this is probably going to be the best thing I can do on average, although I lose a lot of HP overall as a cost to the spell. But that's valued more on Katak because I can't escape normally from combat encounters. You can still do special escape actions, and very specifically, if I pick up a pocket knife from the hardware shop, I can use that to escape. Lore-wise, you can think of it as cutting your way through the webs, but normally that it's not great. Also, didn't I cast invisibility? Not yet, right? So I would know because you can tell because your character will get the invisibility graphic. And I can talk about, I'll try to talk about 5-10 seconds. I'll play slower just to, at least for the first few videos as I explain why I do the things I do. So the middle choice here always grants you a book item. Not always the library book specifically, but it is one of the things in the item pool, which is what happens underneath the surface of the game. Also, with that, I'll transition into threat levels. So, threat levels have 4 levels, as you can see on screen here. They are from top to bottom, I guess, doomed, dangerous, low, which is second here, and none. None obviously has no effect, while low, there is a +1 modifier against you, or -1 modifier, as the game says here. That is to your disadvantage when you, say, get into an event, which I'll show you shortly, if we find one, where you have to roll, the game rolls against your stat. High threat level locations add that modifier, but they also increase your stamina and reason penalty, specifically by 1. So if an event takes away 2 stamina, it will take away 3 stamina. This is kind of not buggy, but there are moments where you lose stamina and reason in ways you don't expect, but just lump that into the location being a dangerous location. And the final one, the doomed threat level, which is at max, adds a 2 modifier instead of a 1, has the max stamina reason penalty as well, but also gives you +1 doom for investigating the location. So normally, when you're investigating a location, doom increases by 1, but if it's at max threat level, it increases by 2, because 1 + 1. So, to counteract that, I will go into the police station, which you have immediately, without needing to unlock it, and can therefore request police patrols to lower threat level by 1. In this case, I'm going to do it to downtown, because in my mind, I know I have several mysteries that will take me downtown. Essentially, though, if you're investigating a location at least twice or 3 times, lowering the threat level will provide you an advantage, growing in proportional to the threat level. So downtown is at max, it'll therefore benefit me more to put police patrols downtown and lower the threat level to dangerous. Of course, there might be a more optimal one, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So, that being said, let's finally investigate this. Well, circled ones are your main investigation. You can investigate any location you want. It's a riskier play, but here I'm going to investigate the mansion, because in footage, when you do this side quest, it removes 3 investigations that you will have to do in the forest phase, I'll call it, of this mystery. And let's cry. So here, in events, oftentimes when you select a choice, it may give you a check. I have extra math turned on through the settings in the main menu. If you don't have it turned on, it'll just say this part, charisma check, success or failure, and then give you your result. I recommend putting extra math on, but if you want to be more immersive or not know as much, you can leave extra math off. And in this case, I get 3 reason, but I could have easily just as much failed. The game rolls a 1d12, and then adds modifiers against whatever stat it is rolling against. So for example, I know chat is another stat check, and this time I failed because I rolled an 8 plus 1, and so I only get this result. And some failure results don't hurt you, and some may even do this, like where they heal reason, but oftentimes the design of the game, especially for those who plan to make events in the future, is normally when you fail something, you receive more damage than if you had, say, done a choice like this in the reading room event, where nothing happens and you don't need to roll anything. But oftentimes for choices where nothing happens, you still lose, say, 1 or 2, 1 reason or 1 stamina, or doom increases by 1 or 2. That's the normal amount. But again, if you want to make your own custom events and go crazy, you can do so. But when you fail an event, say, you will probably lose at least -2 or 2 stamina or reason, or doom increases by 3 or 4, something to that event. So here, kindly refuse is a guaranteed. I think participate in ritual in this case is a check. There's another event similar to this where it just increases your doom, so there's a higher cost, but you get something in return. But here I'm going to kindly refuse, because if you don't believe in RNG or you don't feel confident, then you can take you can pick choices that allow you to just leave the event immediately. But in this case, if I start running, there's no... oh no, there's a check. Never mind. I'm confusing it. Hence why knowledge is important. That being said, I rolled an 11, and oftentimes when you roll in 10, 11, or 12 early on in the game, there's no way you're going to win, but that's just how the dice rolls work, right? Here, get a grip is the guaranteed, but getting lost in thoughts is a charisma check. I don't feel confident because I have 5 charisma if we're playing with theoretical probability, hence I'll do get a grip and lose, well, 2 reason because our threat level here is at dangerous. And if the game doesn't reflect that properly, just assume it's a bug, or again, wonky things can happen. But that also adds into the fun and or balance in some cases, oddly enough. And then you have rituals where it might require you to have a requirement. Here, we need the ritual robe item. I don't think it needs to be equipped. If it does, so be it. But oftentimes, a lot of these events, you won't have the requirement. There are only very specific events where you're kind of like keeping in mind, oh, I want this item, or this perk, or this ally, because requirements can vary from items to allies to perks. So, even knowing that, if you're playing as a certain character with character-specific perks, meaning you can only get that character's perks in your run, if you run into an event where another character's perk is required, obviously you are forced into certain decisions. So while I autopilot for a moment, and we complete this mystery, never mind, wait, let's talk about this first. So there are some effects here, some of them are not, don't have any, bearing on gameplay at the moment. That can change if Panstas changes things, but the end of event or the end of mystery things, knowledge is key. That's your normal end of experience things. Thorough investigation, normally that involves doing the side quest, which here was in footage was investigating the mansion twice. You are already doomed, I think, is something specific to Harbinger, because normally on easier difficulties there's a different title here and then doom decreases, but on Harbinger doom does not decrease at all. Tireless is if you don't sleep, I believe, in the rest action from your home location, and then time passes plus 1 day. That's just more of the lore stuff, but okay. Or letting you know that you've done a mystery, but again, whether that's lore accurate or not, you get a key at the end of the mystery and move on. I didn't talk about how to get certain endings in footage, but I didn't feel, or I was more explaining other things, so please pardon me if I didn't go over things. There's a lot to go over, especially if I have to introduce things to a new player. Now, which things to remember, which things I can talk about are more important. Again, I wouldn't claim to be the one to know a lot about that. But with this now, so I can talk here for about 10-15 seconds about this. So in your first 3 mysteries, again, earlier I said 4th mystery onward, damage increases again. If I didn't say that, just know that that's what happens, hence why I'm thinking about taking Scissors and Teacher next. Probably Scissors and then Teacher. My logic behind that is that I want to level up and try to grab perks to become essentially stronger. That way I can insert Teacher, because in my mind, Scissors is usually easier than Teacher. But if you feel that you want to be more prepared for Scissors than Teacher, then you take Teacher first and then investigate Scissors. And then Botanist and Vigil I can save for later. I don't have any mysteries where I can end in town, so I'll probably do Botanist last because I don't want to be stuck in Vigil for my final mystery. So let's execute my plan of action. Just in general, without saying too much, check the lockers and grab this bat. Don't check this locker. I mean, you can if you want to feel cool, but I wouldn't recommend it because I don't think there's any result that it ends well. And this locker only needs the you have to have the tiny key, which you can get from a mystery called Arms, but you must be on timeline A to do so. Next, after you check the locker, is to check your friend's diary. If you don't see anything here, like to tab right here, then you know you're on timeline A, and this becomes much more important to look at. Alternatively, what I'm going to actually do is ignore this, and the game will usually default, after a few investigations, to a sigil that's not correct. In school, there are two main endings on ending A. Well, there's another one as well-ish, but usually you're either going to draw the sigil shown in the diary correctly, or you are not. Not doing so will make the end result, the ending harder, or the mystery harder to complete on average, because the boss becomes harder. But before we get there, I won't spoil things, but if you do it correctly, then the mystery becomes easier. So after on your third investigation in Scissors, there are three things that can happen. You can run into a bloated teacher, you can run into Maru, or you can run into an event. So those are the things that can happen. For better or worse, I'm now fighting the bloated teacher, and I could take 3 stamina damage. I'll first check my brace. I'm pretty sure I can't do anything here, but I can go for a kick, but I don't feel comfortable with that. So instead, what I'm going to do is probably do this. So I'm going to calculate in my mind. A strong attack is 6 damage, kick is 2, so he'll have 9 HP if I decide to kick on my second turn. What will that allow me to do? That will allow me to maybe defeat this encounter in 3 turns, because I know I can throw something in my inventory to get extra damage out. The reason I'm going to commit to this is because I have the Kendall helmet, and assuming this does work properly, there's a chance I can ignore -3 stamina, so I might as well do that. I don't, but it would have been nice. But I feel more confident about taking 3 stamina if I have full max stamina. I did, so that's why I did what I did. Otherwise, my other alternative action would have been to just run from this encounter, but that didn't happen. So here we're hoping for a 90% on kick, so hopefully we hit that. If we didn't, I would think much more deeply about what to do, but since it worked out, we are going to throw the Kendall helmet before we prep strong and defeat this encounter. So, yeah. On easier difficulties, the bloated teacher would be only doing -2 stamina, and you would have more stamina to work with. But so here, if you didn't already know, you can do the sigil here. Doing it correctly will lower the boss's HP at the end, but there is a reason I'm going to be going for the ending I'm going for, which is not ending A, and I will tell you if and when we get there. Unfortunately, I ran to the Stalker Girl first, but I have a few things I'm thinking about doing. I can cast a Thotu Flame twice, hence losing 2 Reason, 2 Stamina, and 4 Doom. But I get to get out of this encounter in 1, and I'm weighing that against how much damage I'm taking here, so -2 all. Therefore, funny enough, on Harbinger, Thotu Flame has more value. Now, whether or not you want to do it is up to you, but because unless I take a risk here, I may be able to get out in 2 turns, but that assumes I can hit this, because hitting both of these will do 8 damage. Then, if I really want to go out of my mind, I can throw the Bottle of Water or the Wooden Bat while queuing in 2 actions. You can do something like that, so I can throw the Wooden Bat now and still get 4 damage. I consider that, you can call it a bug, but I consider that more a free action for those familiar with tabletop RPG terms, but instead, because I don't feel as confident, I know this is guaranteed. Prep guarantees my attack, and spells are fully accurate, so I'm going to do this twice and then get out. There may have been a more optimal way to do that encounter, but again, I'm just going through, a little bit brainlessly without thinking too much. So here we are in the level up screen. We have 3 of Kyrie's 4 perks, and I might as well rate them now while I'm here. So Ghost Connection is complete RNG. It's can be OP depending on the spell you get. Second Sight is more the stable or more reliable perk, especially since I know that at the end of this counter, this mystery is an eldritch enemy as a boss. And self-therapy is another reliable perk in my opinion, depending though. If you don't have a lot of spells, then it's less reliable, but assuming you get... if you get both Coast Connection and self-therapy, there's a synergy there, obviously, because you get more spells to forget, therefore healing more reason. But if I believe in the amount of reason I'm taking is going to be a lot lower than I expect, hence why I'm taking Second Sight instead. And I could heal stamina or reason, but unfortunately on Harbinger, you only heal 2 of each. So for the purposes of fighting in encounters, I'm going to be taking Strength. Also, this... recording has already gone longer than I usually do, but that's because I am, slowing down to talk about events like School Kitchen, where you can get a steak knife if you succeed this check. Otherwise, I can look for a first aid kit where if I succeed, I heal stamina. But if I fail, nothing happens. And seeing what's cooking is, it's been a while, but I know it's not great, usually, if not guaranteed. So, let's perform this ritual incorrectly and move on. I should probably also equip the rock ring. My max reason drops, but my reason I don't care as much for that is because usually you're not topping yourself off, at least to the 11 or 10 or more reason. So that's a reason I can spend. So, yeah, in this Scissor Woman horror version has extra HP plus 1 because this is the second mystery. I'm pretty sure damage isn't buffed, but for some reason, if I'm misremembering that, let me know. And, the Scissor Woman, the reason why I'm going to probably go with this, even though my chances to hit are abysmal, is because the Scissor Woman, after the first turn, has a chance of raising her scissors. That is your cue that the Scissor Woman is doing a special attack that, 1, does double damage, and yeah, double damage here is not great, and 2, gives you a status effect which, 1, lowers your charisma, but also makes you feel bad as a player. But realistically, we're talking about the double damage, which Brace nullifies the double damage, so it's not... I'm not taking -3 all, I'm taking -1 all, because it nullifies the effect of doubling the damage as well. So, hence why I'm doing this. Granted, this is going to be big RNG, so if I lose too much HP, I will need to do a thing. But usually, based on what I'm thinking of, and because I get bonus damage, the game, thankfully, by design, gives you a weapon at the beginning of Scissors that is effective against the Scissor Woman, hence I am doing bonus damage on top of the displayed 5 damage. But still, though, if your RNG is not good, you can... this can end not well. So, hopefully I keep hitting these 57%. This is really lucky, by the way. And I should be able to just prep strong. She raises her scissors, and if for some reason I misdo this, I pretty much just die. But the reason why we took this ending B, is because doing ending B gives you the cursed scissors, while doing ending A gets you ending A, but not really anything else. And you still get a thorough investigation. Again, thorough investigation, even though, yes, we quote-unquote did not do the side quest. Sometimes thorough investigation is just part of the mystery regardless. So, yeah, we'll move on. As for the Cursed Scissors, and if you want my opinion, it's an above-average weapon. It deals a lot of damage for what it does. However, if you foresee that your Doom is going to increase a lot during the entire run, it might be something to not use. But usually it's worth its Doom cost regardless, because it's a lot of weapons are... not that they underperform, but compared to the Cursed Scissors, they do not perform as well, in my opinion. But again, that completely depends on your playstyle. I also have to remember to sense of the boss. Hopefully I do, but let's move on. So, I don't recall this mystery like the back of my hand, but in general, especially for those creating custom content, or custom mysteries specifically, just know that if and when, I can't even remember if you can do side quests. I don't think you can. But assuming you can do side quests, usually they don't, it's not involved in your main investigation, because otherwise, the whole point of a side quest is that you have to go out of your way to do it, and if you make your side quest part of your main quest, essentially, like, you're just giving the player free experience or free benefits. But, to autopilot as I go on here, I'm pretty sure Teacher is a 7 investigation mystery, meaning I have to do 7 investigations before the mystery ends. So... That's the norm. Obviously, there are not norms, but again, this is more for people who are planning on making custom mysteries. Normally, mysteries should be about 7 investigations long. If they are longer or shorter, you have to do things to balance appropriately. Unless, of course, you're just doing whatever you want. Again, I can't control what you do, so hey. Why am I taking only -2 reason? Does the Cyclops neighbor really only do -1 reason on easier difficulties? I mean, that's nice, but hey. So what do I want to do here? Yeah, I think I want to do this because this gets me out in 2 turns. I can probably do more here, or maybe not. But essentially, being able to get out of an encounter or defeat an encounter in 2 turns is good. But realistically speaking, if we're being more accurate on what I want to say, maybe I'm going to do the side quest, by the way. To be more accurate, you want to benefit as much as possible from an enemy while taking the least amount of damage or receiving the least amount of negative consequence, if that makes any sense. But that's normally revolves around finishing the encounter in as few turns as possible. Of course, that's not always the case. There are very specific examples where that is not the case, but I'll let you know if and when we run into such an encounter. Asato, by the way, just happens to work really well for Kyrie here. Unfortunately, the only reason I'm not doing this immediately is because if you obtain a spell but you have the max amount of spells held, you actually lose 1 point of reason. But I'm actually going to do this because, yeah, you could get a spell where if you use it, something happens. I'm not going to use it right now because my stamina is actually quite low. But I also don't want to forget it just in case I level up and get self-therapy. Otherwise, I lose out on reason, if that makes any sense. But if I happen to pick up a spell, then obviously I want to use it. Sewing Kit also normally good for anyone who's worried about -1 charisma, save for a very specific strategy and or character. You normally don't, and even when you're using said character, you have to be using a very specific strategy. So, I don't really, so normally Sewing Kit, feel free to use it. But there are times, obviously, when you don't. If you know those, use common logic. If you're about to die to charisma, let's just say, or if you are using a certain strategy that relies on charisma, then do not use the Sewing Kit, obviously. But otherwise, here we are in the weird classroom. I'll try to censor. Again, I'm really focused on censoring this, so this we don't need to censor, although depending on where you live, maybe gore is a bit much. Welcome to World of Horror, I guess. At the same time, so I have 2 options here. One, I could just take 2 stamina damage, which could be a problem if I had certain effects that make me take more damage, but nothing weird should happen. Alternatively, though, because I know I have 3 stamina or below, when you have 3 stamina or below, Desperate Struggle becomes usable, and this doubles the base damage of your attacks, whether that's kick, attack normally, or strong attack. Ally attack, which would be normally here, but I let go of Asato, or fire weapon, I believe is not affected, but if for some reason I've been living in an alternate reality, let's just deal double damage instead. And let me make sure I'm censoring this. So we will do that, and you immediately get thrown into another boss. So, we fight now the Shiokawa School, and this one has a very specific action. If you're dealing damage otherwise, know that that's most likely a bug, but normally to deal damage here, you need to attack the teacher. However, optimization-wise, if you want advice from me, you should be trying to brace or dodge. If dodge allows you to dodge the damage here, which it should, then if you want to do that, you can, but otherwise, I would normally ask you to brace, on Harbinger anyway, because obviously per point of doom, brace means I only take 1 doom, while I deal however much damage I deal in 1 attack. In easier difficulties, obviously, you could just go all out like this. And very specifically, if you're on a certain backstory, you want to do this, because on a certain backstory, the more turns you're taking damage, the more you can proc negative effects. Actually, it's 2 backstories, right? If I'm not mistaken for the veterans out there, but because I want to take less doom damage, and this doesn't, I don't believe procs the scissors, but I guess we're about to find out, right? Let's actually level up now as well, but we got self-therapy. If we had a second or a ghost connection, then I would have wanted that, but since we're here now, I can also give you another piece of advice for this pilot episode. If you have 3 or 4 stamina or reason or below, just heal stamina or reason. Even though, yes, I'm only getting 2 here, on easier difficulties you get a lot more. So I'm actually going to heal reason instead here. I would like knowledge or strength, but that's not as feasible because if I lose the ability to take a bath, that would not be great. And, of course, I think this is bugged still. So it says 10 damage. I'm going to look 35 to 28. So I'm actually doing 7 damage. That's a graphical bug. Or technical one. It depends if I'm actually supposed to do 10 or if it's supposed to say 7. There's a similar thing happening with other battle actions, but again, we'll see what the developer decides. And once I reach about 14 HP, then I can just go all out because there's no point bracing. Why lose 1 doom when I can end the encounter here? So, let me resolve combat so I can uncensor things. And that is how you do ending A. I think you still do fight the same bosses on ending B, correct me if I'm wrong, but again, at least I've shown you ending A, which I think revolves around you doing the side quest, so that's that. Otherwise, again, let me know. So, we'll drink this bottle of water, because as long as we still have bath, we can refill this bottle of water, and then do whatever we want. I could heal stamina, I could get 5 experience. Normally, I take reason, but you, as the player, do whatever you want. So next, now, since we're on our 4th mystery onward, damage has increased by 1 against me until the end of this run. And I'm going to take Vigil, because what I consider here is that if I had, say, 5 stamina and 4 reason, I would probably take Botanist instead. But since I feel like I'm going to be as healthy as I'm going to be, because I don't have the chance to rest or anything, say for, events healing me or me having healing items, let's take Vigil now, because I don't want to end up with, again, 4 stamina or 1 reason with no sewing kit, nothing else in my inventory, and nothing I can do. So again, like I said, I could just end up taking damage and dying. So, I'll school you in here on the Cursed Grimoire event in the mansion, and if you didn't know, you can hover over these things here to see the categories, but this happens in the mansion, and I can read it, burn it, or take it. I don't even remember what read it does anymore. Taking it gives you a book, but I think you lose something, but burn it is normally the safe option here, because it's always going to be -3 doom. Now, some of you might be saying at this point, as I autopilot this for a moment, if you talk to the guests here at 10 p.m. you will get a Vigil pamphlet, and basically following the steps here, not all of them can be followed, but basically doing what you can allows you to go for ending A. I am not going to go for ending A, however, because I don't want to fight the boss here, even though I have a lot of doom to spend, or a doom remaining. Just as a rule of thumb on Harbinger, I don't take it, but I will take it when the time comes. Actually, I could go for it. We'll see what I do, but let's actually do the Vigil first. So, pray over the body. It's 10 p.m. right now, therefore we're going to clap 2 times. And then bow, and then clap. And then we inspect the foot to do the Vigil correctly. I was going to talk about something I forgot, because now I might as well let you in on how Vigil works. Here, since I said I didn't care much about Charisma, I'm just going to pop this. I could have run into an encounter in the mansion, yes, for the veterans who know. But I want to heal now just in case something really weird happens. I could have waited, but I also want to grab this meat cleaver, which you can do at 11 p.m. by going to the storage room and checking the wardrobe. Unfortunately, I don't think it's getting me anything good right here, because the cursed scissors are probably better. I can calculate this based on strength and knowledge, but I'll talk about that at a later date. I will still hold on to the meat cleaver, because at least it's something I can throw at an enemy, but let's light up this fireplace and move on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Vigil checks or that specific one is random. It's not actually dependent on your perception in a way. It still rolls, I think, but again, it's kind of weird. That one I don't really understand completely. So, yes, there are even things I don't know as much. So, here I can do a thing. I'm actually going to make a risky play here, and I'm going to throw my empty bottle and the meat cleaver. Will I, actually? Or do I want to brace? It's not guaranteed. So this is the more RNG play. But I may take less reason damage, yes. Because what happens is if I hit brace plus attack boost attack twice, I will only lose 2 reason as opposed to what I wanted to do here, which is do this, but throw the meat cleaver and the empty bottle. and take 3 reason damage, but I get out in 2 turns guaranteed. There's no RNG involved in this strategy. However, if I do say this instead, and there are more obviously, but I'll go into them shortly. But if I do this, there's a 70% chance, and there's another 70% chance, so you can do the math in your head. But if I hit that and then only throw the meat cleaver, I can then do a prepare strong and only lose 2 reason. Now, of course, if I miss, then I can maybe try to break even. But if I miss twice, then I have likely lost more reason than, say, if I did this strategy. Again, here I am giving you so I hope to, if nothing else this video, I have let you in on the different ways you can approach an encounter, practically anyway. I've yet to release the battle video and as of this recording, but and then if you want to go out of your mind, you could do something like this. I could do a Throw to Flame and try to get out in 1 turn. That might actually be more useful because I have Doom to spare, and that loses me less reason overall. However, I will likely need to do it. And if I have bonus damage, I don't know right now because I can't remember. But say if I had bonus damage here, I could 1-turn this encounter because then I do 8 plus 11 damage, which is 19, and then cast it Throw to Flame. Or I could throw both of these and go for a Hail Mary with some kind of weird other damage option. Again, yes, overall it looks like just RNG, but you can't deny that there's character expression in what you want to do and when you want to do things. Like right now I might just be doing guaranteed this so I can throw both of these for 3 reason, but in another encounter where I have presented with the exact same situation, even though it's not exactly the same, again, there's a lot to think about. Because say if this were doing stamina damage instead, I would personally be more comfortable because I believe I lose more reason as a player just playing World of Horror than I do stamina. So if I were losing, if this were doing stamina damage, I would probably just do this and then throw the empty ball and the meat cleaver. But because I'm more scared on reason in a weird kind of twist, because again, the logic here is presented as is. So we're going to go for this and see what happens. And then I will tell you what I'm thinking. But if we hit both of these twice, that will be great. Because as I said, I'm going to throw the meat cleaver, and then I'm just going to do a prep strong. And I don't get bonus damage, but hey. Also, as a quick little reminder, if the whole ring thing suddenly stops, that is likely your cue to brace. But I was bracing anyway, that's why I can kind of mindlessly attack. However, if it suddenly stops, 1, you're going to eat bonus damage, but 2, unlike other encounters where I have seen people not really notice it, it'll also give you a status effect called Holes, which makes you lose 2 stamina at the end of every mystery. So, yeah, depending on how many mysteries you've done, that can amount to quite a bit of damage. Obviously, if it's your last mystery, it doesn't do as much damage, but again, that's up to your own discretion. Also, I should forget a spell here. I could also use Expel Evil, but let's wait. I can kind of wait on that. So I feel confident in my resources, so let's take Strength now for the purpose of bracing. Do I have an injury? I feel like I did. Infected Wound. Do I care about that? So while some people might be scared, I would say not to get rid of this because ultimately this is not doing anything against me unless I plan to get 8 Dexterity, which is why I guess I'll set on Unearthly Suture. However, Invisibility on the other hand, let me think. If I did not have the Cursed Scissors equipped, I would keep Invisibility because I may have a worse weapon, and I'm thinking of Botanist and the encounters in the forest. And there are a few that I do not feel comfortable with, among with other locations that I could proc one, but since I'm doing a lot of forest investigations theoretically, it's likely I'm going to run into a forest enemy and fight that enemy. But since I have the Cursed Scissors, I feel more confident in my combat abilities in this run right now in this situation. I'm going to forget Invisibility to heal Reason. After I took the Ghost Connection perk. So at 12 a.m., there's nothing really much to do, I don't think, unless something really weird is added. In the future, there may be something, but for now, all you do is check so that you can continue on with your investigation. Leave through the other door, I don't remember, because you searching the room grants you an item no matter what. Now, what exactly is from a pool, but Broken Bottle I'll take over an energy drink. Usually, again, in this specific situation, I might want the energy drink, but that's if the game plays out in a way where I want to have 8 Dexterity for the Lighthouse. Here, however, I'm going to do a thing. So I'm going to drop these, store these handcuffs because I know I will likely not need them. And I'm going to take the materials here. However, we failed, but, you know, one, I'm Kyrie with high knowledge, but the game just rolls badly against me. And two, thankfully, this is a much less serious injury. Exposed ribs is normally not going to be harmful to your run. It will be if you get 4 of them, and I'm not going to put that outside the realm of possibility, like say it's unlikely, but I'd rather that than other injuries, normally. So at 2 a.m., we can check the Vigil pamphlet. We have to feed the plant in the study with blood, or there's another thing it can say. Either way, if you do either of those things and take the left option, you are taking steps to get ending A. However, cutting the plant down in this specific case lowers Doom. At the same time, though, Doom proceeds to rise again. But again, normally your choice here is going to depend on whether you want to do ending A and or if you want Doom to increase or decrease as a whole. But again, that depends on situation. Cadaver Theater is literally a cadaver event, meaning you're just going to suffer there. But from a balance perspective, if we're to talk about a tangent for a moment, those events are also needed. Meanwhile, this is the other mansion event. Don't ask why. I guess they're taking a bath in the mansion. But this is also another one where, yes, you can take the bath. Yes, you can take hot bath. But me and a few other veterans will usually tell you to take this choice, because this choice, like the event you saw earlier, lowers Doom by 3. And normally there are not a lot of ways to decrease Doom, whereas usually you have more methods or avenues to recover stamina and reason, which is what the other 2 options normally do. Also, I'm Kyrie and not another character, so I can't have taken the hot bath option unless I am on a perk that I can grab all run. Is that tutorial in the background, by the way? Anywho, so what you can do here is sacrifice the guests. However, you will not get ending A, you will get a different ending. But here, if you carve this curved symbol instead, you will now fight a boss who is normally very tanky and actually, you know, does quite a lot of Doom. I normally don't take it though because I don't want Doom, but because I know I have 38% Doom, in my mind, if you want advice from me, if you're at 38% Doom and you're on your 4th mystery or at the end of it, you're doing very, very, very well on Doom. But again, that is very situational. If I were, say, at 68% Doom and I were doing this mystery, I would probably have just sacrificed the guests in lore and in the game and gotten out. But because we're here and because I feel confident, because this boss thankfully has a lot lower power level compared to everything else, and I can get a guaranteed attack. If I can get a guaranteed attack, I feel a lot more confident. But again, that also depends on power levels. I'm pretty sure, again, it's been a while since I've been here, but sacrificing other guests in this encounter, while it may seem enticing, I think locks you out of ending A as well. If it doesn't, let me know, but I'm telling you here, basically you just want to do this. And because I feel confident, yes, Doom might be increasing more because I'm using the Cursed Scissors, which will show up in chat if Doom increases, and I'm pretty sure I'm popping the mic. Let me know on an off tangent as I autopilot for a moment. I could also have, yes, I forgot that this horrible old man, this icon means that the enemy is a human enemy. So yes, there are some of you, especially veterans, who are probably like, hey, you could have used the handcuffs. Yes, I could have used the handcuffs. At the same time, though, this encounter as a whole is normally not very scary, because think about it. I'm on my 4th mystery, which means the horrible old man is receiving a damage increase from mystery scaling. And we're on Harbinger, which means this horrible old man is also receiving an extra point of Doom. So realistically speaking, if your Doom does not look like it's going to increase a lot during the run, or alternatively, your Doom is not very high and you feel like you want to fight the old man, although he's only worth 14 experience, you can get ending A, which will matter on a certain backstory. And probably maybe more. Again, not just because something requires ending A or something doesn't mean there aren't other situations that can be indirectly affected by you going for ending A, because ending A involves here fighting a boss and things like that. And then Ghost Connection or certain perks will show up telling you that you get things. So I learned Regeneration, which to me is let's review spells while we're playing Kyrie and getting spells, right? So Regeneration, again, a lot of veterans will say it's mostly useless. I can see why they would say that, but if you were to objectively look at this, if for some reason you take like you're taking 89 stamina damage over the course of a run, and your reason, like, you're not taking any reason damage at all, yes, regeneration has a use. There are also certain cases where you can cast spells at a different cost or for free, so hence why you might keep it. But I don't really believe in that, so I'm going to do that and forget. And let's see, riots. I forgot what exactly this is, because I think you can run to the rioters regardless without it. Maybe it increases the chances, maybe it doesn't. Again, normally in my mind it's negligible, so therefore, if you, the viewer, forget about it, don't feel bad, I forget about it too. So, among other town effects that are probably worse, Freaky Flood can be scary. School Curfew is dependent, but normally it's not scary because you're probably going to use the library, if you use it at all, at the beginning of your run. But there are situations where you don't, usually RNG, where you're throwing a Hail Mary and you need to survive, where you go for a spell. And cut off from the outside world means that if you had not done a certain thing, that you can no longer do the requirements for it. So yeah. Moving on. So, I said I was going to do 2 runs. Maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. But we'll enter Botanist last as our mystery. And since we're playing on Harbinger, I'm letting you know right now, we are almost always, if not always, going to default to a non-A ending. Or in fact, the ending D ending, I believe. And as I just said, we didn't run into we ran into a non-forest encounter. And yeah, this is doing quite a bit of damage. However, I may be able to shorten things up. So I'm going to do some calculations now. So 7 damage next turn for 14. I can throw an empty bottle and a broken bottle. Broken bottle does 3, empty bottle does 4. So I can go for a 2-turn, because what I can do is do that, 7 damage, 10 damage here, 17, and then this does 7 as well, if I really want to throw it. But I think I will, to avoid losing stamina. I'm thinking about it, though. Otherwise, alternatively, I think funny enough, Itotu Flame is probably going to get a lot of work done for me here. The reason why is because I have all of Kyrie's better perks. In my opinion, the last one, Arcane Grasp, which increases the amount of spells you can learn, you can hold by 2, is relatively useless because you're not usually holding on to 5 or 6 spells. So hence, I pretty much have the I main Kyrie loadout right here. And now I'm thinking what I want to do. So if I think I'm just going to cast this. I feel pretty confident. And what I can do is, do this. Maybe even do this. Yeah, so I can do this. So I can take no damage in this counter, save for the cost I spent using Itotu Flame. And I know I have Doom, and I know I have Reason, so stamina, we take less. All I was thinking about was stamina in that encounter. So, yeah, that's less stamina for me. And then we just take the rice field damage because that's just a cadaver event or a bad event. But, you should plan for events like that. That's why, if I didn't already mention it, I don't like to be at 3 or 4 reason or below. 3 reason, stamina and reason below, because if you listen to me talk about threat levels, if you take 2 stamina damage and then you receive the threat penalty, you die with 3 stamina or reason, depending on the event. I think I can do the same thing here, but again, the power level is different, so I actually have to take a risk at 80% here. However, since I'm relatively healthy, I'm the type of player, well, right, in this situation right now, I think I'm more a sporadic player, but in this situation, I'm willing to take this 80% gamble after casting Itotu Flame once. Because my logic is because I have a lot of resources here, so even if I lose -3 all, while that's a lot of damage, and goes against what I said in the tips video, in terms of running away, I'm gonna go for this. So if I get hit here, or if I miss, that would have been very bad. But if I were in a more sane state of mind, I probably would have just run, because I have 61% Doom, and I'm nearing the end of the mystery. And we can take Arcane Grasp, but unfortunately, if you're in a situation like I'm about to tell you right now, where I forgot my knowledge check, also I have like a pet bottle, plastic bottle next to me, which is what the sound you're hearing. Because I forgot, I'm going to take Folklore Studies and take 1 point of strength to get my stats to 8. 8 stats is what you need to pass stat checks in the Lighthouse. It is not a roll, it is guaranteed. So let's move on. And let's see how high my Doom goes. I can talk about the event I just ran into, but let's not slow down my gameplay too much, because my recording has already gone for nearly 50 minutes, and yeah, also I need to do a thing on the side as I go into Shiro-san here. So I'm not going to go too much into it, because I probably should, because I'll never do it on Harbinger, but it's been a long time, and the last time I did it, you have to protect Shiro-san while leading him for so long that you just end up dying. However, the doorway being blocked and otherwise, you know, I think there are 4 endings here, 3 or 4 endings. We're gonna go for a non-ending A, but one of them is leading Shiro-san out successfully. Doing so will have you avoid the ending penalties that I'm about to do, where trying to lead him out without protecting him at all will result in Shiro-san dying. Which will, as of a nerf a long time ago, because most people were doing this ending, increase your Doom. However, if you successfully lead Shiro-san out, you don't receive a Doom penalty. So why don't you do that? Because doing so, especially on Harbinger, results in you taking a bunch of damage. What this doesn't tell you is that this is all damage. So I'm receiving -3 all if I choose to protect Shiro-san this in a turn, which, due to lower max stamina and reason and how perfect you have to play or prepared you have to be, you're probably going to die most often than not. And yeah, other endings will require a side quest if you decide to do it, so that's another non-ending A, but 2 would require you to I think also reveal, while having another mystery called Mermaids, to grab a very specific item. Alternatively, you could just play as a custom character and give yourself said weapon, but you know. So Left Behind is the result of you doing ending A, which adds more Doom, but compared to pretty much dying on Harbinger most, if not all the time, yeah, that's what you want to do. No thorough investigation, because that's probably tied to at least doing the side quest. You don't have to do another ending. I'm pretty sure it's a side quest. Again, let me know. But again, if nothing else, know that I'm weighing my options here. And I don't need to actually cast any of these Expel Evil curses. I probably don't even need Earthly Suture. So I'm just going to forget it and move on into doing the Lighthouse. I lost Bath because the town effect contaminated water. For those who have also watched a certain... Oh, no, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, but you can no longer bathe. Thankfully, I got it at the end here, so it doesn't hurt me as much, but you can kind of surmise that if you get contaminated water after your first mystery, that's a lot of healing you miss out on. But here we can look. So strength, we have 8, so we pass. This is the second mystery check, so if I remember that, my Doom doesn't decrease by 5. We don't have 8 charisma, and failing the charisma check means you lose 3 reason. If you don't have a light source, you lose 3 more reason, but if you essentially do your math, I've mentioned it before, usually you need 10 stamina and 7 reason to survive anything the Lighthouse throws at you, stamina or reason-wise. This is not true depending on if you have certain status effects, but know that that's just the baseline. And then obviously, here, this is Takushi-san's symbol. This is an encounter that does Doom damage, and this is the second mystery check, which asks you to remember your second mystery, but we don't have the 6th floor, which I think is called the Heart of Darkness effect. And I think this will be just one run. We'll check what achievements we got, but otherwise we should be able to just move on. But just to be safe, I'm just going to be confident and rest twice before we move on. If nothing else, we unlocked the achievement for succeeding one run, but I know I saw other achievements unlocked. So I think I took Scissors second, so we get 10 experience. Every successful lighthouse floor you do gets you 10 experience, but to kind of go off tangent for a moment, any experience that you don't spend is essentially wasted. So if you have any reason to spend experience before or during this ascent here, and you know you're not going to level up, you might as well spend it, because otherwise it's not doing anything. So I think I still had handcuffs as well, but because we just want to not waste time, I'm going to Thotu Flame and then attack Takushi-san 3 times at 100%. And down he goes. And then, yeah, since right now reaching the top of the lighthouse is all you need to, quote-unquote, survive a run by the game standards, then if you somehow die while reaching the top floor, you'll get achievements. But that's likely a gut bug. Whether or not the developer will fix that, we'll see. So, without further ado, let us check which achievements we have unlocked, and we will end the video. So, we unlocked 6 achievements. We completed playthrough without resting, funny enough, which unlocks the challenges game mode, which is a host of challenge runs you can do, which I think all of them unlock. No, I'm going crazy. No, they all, well, we'll see. So, next is Transfer Girl, complete a game with Kyrie. That's what it says by the first character. We unlock the Eldritch Amulet item. I completely forgot where it is, but when you unlock items, they become available either through events, through shops, so on and so forth, or wherever they would normally be found once you unlock them. Roll a 1 during a stat check gets you the Hermit as a recruitable ally, so now Hermit has joined the pool of allies. If you get Hermit beforehand, just assume it's a bug. Winning our first playthrough unlocks Endless Mode, and that is tied to an achievement as well, but we'll do that later. And Eldritch Backstory 1, win a playthrough using World of War Backstory. Again, just probably likely a consequence of winning your first playthrough, because your first playthrough is likely to be in World of War Backstory. And then, funny enough, I got one of the new achievements that is part of the 1.0 game release, which is to defeat a human enemy in 1 combat round, which unlocks the Blood Frenzy status effect, which I could show you, but if you really want to know yourself and you have the ability to do so, you can make a custom character and give them the status effect, but otherwise you'll see it because I believe it's a curse. But yeah, without further ado, I'll do the end of video stuff, so if you want to subscribe to the channel, support or support me long term, please do so. Otherwise, if you have any ideas of videos you want me to do, let me know. I have a queue as of this recording, but I don't mind at least thinking about things. Otherwise, that'll be the end of this video, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching, and I'm out. Bye!